Horizon Zero Dawn is it's one of the best open world games that's ever been released. And essentially, it doesn't exactly do anything brand new in the genre. And instead, what it does is it distills all the best aspects of other open world games you're seeing from places like Ubisoft and elsewhere, where it takes some of those features and distills them into such a great detail that it doesn't feel bloated or a checklist, and instead every single thing you do feels meaningful. And even beyond that, it makes the world feel more believable, and that's kind of crazy for a game where it's in the future but it's all tribes and there's mechanical animals everywhere and futuristic sci-fi tech as well, and all that comes together incredibly well to create a fascinating world. And the character itself, Aloy, you play as, is one of the best or better written protagonists, especially in an open world game, where usually an open world game is all about giving you a playground to play in. They give you tools and essentially it's a tie box, where here, while that is there to some extent, the character and the story you play within is just as enthralling as what you'd get in a really high quality cinematic linear game. So you have Aloy who wants answers, and it's this world filled with mysteries. And essentially you want answers. It's set about 1,000 years in the future, and it's gone back to tribal worlds and sort of just tribes, and it's got that sort of aspect of like a primal like game, but there's mechanical beasts everywhere, and throughout the whole world is remnants of a world long gone and technology from a world further in the future than we are. And it's sort of that weird mix of way in the past and way in the future culminating, and it gelled really well. Like, I can't get over saying, I can't stress that enough, that this worked really, really well, and nothing feels like it's one is the focus and the other is tacked on. They both coexist brilliantly, and the world itself is just mesmerizing. Like, visually, I think you can see right here, I played this game on a regular PS4, and I think you can, hopefully you can see that this is easily one of the best looking games I have ever played, especially on a console, and it runs really smoothly. That's the thing, no matter what is going on, there's no huge dips, there's no crazy madness happening, it just runs incredibly well. And there were times I was just exploring the world, which I'll get to know in a second why it's so great, but there were times I just stopped because I was running through, say, a forested area, and dawn broke and the god rays came in through the trees, and it was this beautiful pinkish light, and it just sort of illuminated the world where I stood, and I just stood there and I appreciated it like I was seeing a sunrise for the very first time in real life. It just looks that good, and there are many times that happens, and that's just the day-night cycle and how the weather works in the environments. Everything is so like beautiful that I couldn't help but stop and appreciate it many times throughout my 30 or so hours with the game. But the open world itself, there isn't a ton of things to do within it. You don't have, like, you've got the essential sort of what essentially is towers, but they're called tall necks, and there are only, there's less than half a dozen throughout the whole game. And there's bandit camps, but there's only a couple, and the rest of the game just lets you explore. And that's one thing I love about this that other games don't do. It lets you explore, and it's kind of crazy to think in an open world game where freedom is like one of its unique selling points, but ultimately you're not allowed to go 10 feet in any direction without some call from one of the main characters saying, hey, don't forget to do this, or a side mission here and there and everywhere, and making you say, hey, go over here, and making you sort of see aspects of the world without you feeling like you want to explore them. And that's sort of what Horizon Zero Dawn does so well, is that I wanted to explore them. I didn't really care if there was a reason for it. I just wanted to go explore what's over here. Like, you start in sort of a tundra area and you move into forestry and deserts and other things, and it's all stunning. but I wanted to just go and see what was beyond the horizon every single time. And sometimes I was rewarded with a side quest, and the side quests themselves are actually meaningful in a sense that they're acted pretty well and there's a reason for them. It's not like, hey, hero of the game, I lost my rocks, can you pick up 5 rocks for me? It's like, hey, me and my brother used to do this thing, he's gone now, will you help me do it for all time's sake, for me or whatever? And you're just like, yeah, sure, whatever, I may as well. It's kind of suiting me as well because I get to take out, say in one of these instances, a bandit camp, and it's just everything's done so well. And the combat, I can't believe I've talked for this long and never even mentioned the combat. It feels incredible, and it's not just easy shooting, take them all down. Like, these beasts can be a battle, and I mean strategic, infuriatingly tough battles. And that's what's so great about it, is that every enemy doesn't have to be tackled and it doesn't have to be killed, because to be honest with you, a lot of time you are outnumbered and you are outpowered and you've got to be smart. And you see this enemy, you're like, hey, what if I lure it over here, set this trap, throw this down, tie it down, and then test it using my focus, which is essentially the whole detective thing where you get to see its weak spots and what elements and types of arrows will be weak to, and just sort of figure out your plan to take these things down. And they're all like mini bosses essentially, and it's on the open world, and it's not necessary, but it's really rewarding. You get a decent XP for defeating them, and there's just so much I could talk about this game. I could go on all day about this game. The soundtrack's great. Like I said, it's one of the most beautiful games I've ever seen. The characters are really cool, story's brilliant. Like, there's mystery through the whole game, and then they've done a great job of somehow building this game up to be really, really, really exciting to get to play, and not let any of its secrets drop. And sort of, you don't really know much going into it, you don't really know much going through a lot of it, but it all comes together really well and really rewarding. And this is just one of the best games to come out in years, and it's easily the best game that's exclusive to the PlayStation 4. I think it's better than Uncharted. I think it's better than the rest. This is one of the best games, probably the best game, or one of the best games easily this generation on all systems. And it's just one of the most essential games you need to play, especially if you like open world games. And I can't not gush more enough about this game. This is brilliant. Look, I'm going to be honest with you, I don't like these outro to videos either. I hate the whole pleading to watch more videos or like or subscribe, but honestly it really actually does help if you do subscribe. So maybe subscribe, maybe, yeah, no, yeah, don't worry about it.